The Scandalous Life of John Warner, 10 Shocking Facts. John Warner, a former U.S. Senator and prominent political figure, lived a life marked by power, controversy, and intrigue. As a long-serving Republican senator from Virginia, his career and personal life were often under public scrutiny. From high-profile marriages to contentious political stances, Warner's story is filled with fascinating and often shocking episodes. Here are 10 scandalous and intriguing facts about the life of John Warner. Number 1. A youth defined by ambition. John William Warner III was born on February 18, 1927, in Washington, D.C., into a privileged family. His father, Dr. John William Warner Jr., was a prominent surgeon, and his mother, Martha Budd Warner, prioritized his education. Warner attended Woodrow Wilson High School in Washington and Lee University, but his life took a patriotic turn at 17, when he enlisted in the U.S. Navy during the final months of World War II. Warner's personal life was just as notable. In August 1957, he married Catherine Conover Mellon, the daughter of art collector Paul Mellon and granddaughter of industrialist Andrew Mellon. The marriage expanded Warner's social and financial resources, aiding his early political ambitions. The couple had 3 children, Virginia, John IV, and Mary, before divorcing in 1973. In December 1976, Warner married actress Elizabeth Taylor, her 6th husband. Their glamorous union brought Warner unprecedented media attention but ended in divorce in 1982. He was Taylor's longest-lived and last surviving husband. In the 1990s, Warner was linked to journalist Barbara Walters, and in 2003, he married Jean Vandermeide, the widow of a Reagan administration official. This final marriage marked a stable and quieter chapter in his life. Number 2. A senator amidst the Iran-Contra scandal. Warner's senatorial career from 1979 to 2009 was marked by political turbulence, notably during the Iran-Contra affair in the mid-1980s. This scandal saw senior officials in the Reagan administration secretly sell arms to Iran, despite a U.S. embargo, and channel proceeds to fund Nicaraguan Contra rebels. While Warner was not directly implicated, his proximity to the Reagan administration invited scrutiny. His staunch defense of some Reagan policies led to accusations of complicity. In a later interview, Warner stated, "I believed in the broader mission of containing communism, a stance that divided his supporters." Critics argued that Warner turned a blind eye to illegal activities, while his allies viewed him as a loyal statesman committed to national security. Number 3. A Hollywood marriage that rocked politics. Warner's marriage to Elizabeth Taylor on December 4, 1976, was a media sensation. Taylor, an 8-time married Hollywood icon, brought unparalleled glamour to Warner's political world. At the time, Warner was transitioning from Secretary of the Navy to an emerging political figure. The marriage catapulted Warner into the spotlight, but it proved challenging. Taylor reportedly struggled with the subdued role of a senator's wife, calling life in Virginia a bore compared to Hollywood. Meanwhile, Warner found himself juggling legislative responsibilities with constant media scrutiny. Their union ended in 1982, but both maintained mutual respect. Warner credited Taylor with teaching him resilience under pressure, while Taylor described him as a rare, good man in the harsh world of politics. Number 4. A controversial stance on the Iraq War. As chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Warner was instrumental in shaping U.S. military policy during the Iraq War. Initially, Warner supported the invasion, citing the need to address Saddam Hussein's alleged weapons of mass destruction. However, as the war dragged on and public sentiment soured, Warner's position shifted. By 2007, he called for a reduction in U.S. troop presence, openly criticizing the Bush administration's handling of the war. In a pivotal Senate speech, Warner declared, "We cannot continue on this course, our soldiers deserve better." His change of heart angered Republican hawks, who accused him of betrayal, but Warner stood firm, insisting his duty was to the American people rather than party loyalty. Number 5. Ethics allegations and financial scrutiny. Warner's immense wealth and connections to elite families occasionally drew criticism. In the 1980s, allegations arose regarding his relationships with defense contractors who benefited from lucrative government contracts overseen by committees on which he served. Although no formal investigations or charges materialized, Warner's detractors argued that his position gave undue advantages to wealthy associates. Warner categorically denied any wrongdoing, stating, "These are baseless claims meant to distract from my service." Nonetheless, the allegations lingered, fueling debates about the intersection of wealth and political power. Number 6. A legacy tied to military service. Military service was the cornerstone of John Warner's identity and a critical component of his political career. He first enlisted in the U.S. Navy during World War II at just 17 years old, serving in 1945 as a seaman. Following the war, Warner continued his education but soon rejoined the armed forces during the Korean War, this time as a first lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps. His first-hand experience in combat zones shaped his views on military strategy and national defense. Warner's dedication to the military culminated in his appointment as Secretary of the Navy under President Richard Nixon in 1972. During his tenure, he oversaw major initiatives, including the modernization of naval fleets and the implementation of new training protocols. However, his leadership style drew criticism from some senior officers, who accused him of being overly focused on Washington politics rather than operational efficiency. Warner's legacy as a public servant deeply rooted in military affairs was celebrated throughout his career. His advocacy for veterans, his support for defense funding, and his push for bipartisan solutions to military issues earned him respect across party lines. Reflecting on his service, Warner said in 1995, "The uniform I wore remains my proudest badge." Number 7. Relationship with political rivals. Warner's bipartisan approach often placed him at odds with his own party. Known for working with Democrats to advance key legislation, Warner occasionally angered conservative colleagues. His rivalry with fellow Virginia Republican George Allen became particularly bitter, with Allen accusing Warner of being out of touch with Virginia values. Despite the friction, Warner's ability to bridge political divides earned him respect from moderates. He was praised for his pragmatism, though detractors labeled him a rhino, Republican in name only. Number 8. A marriage of wealth and division. Warner's first marriage to Catherine Mellon was a union of influence and affluence. Mellon, an heiress to the Mellon banking dynasty, brought significant wealth to their marriage. However, their relationship unraveled in 1973, culminating in a highly publicized divorce. The settlement involved substantial financial divisions, with assets reportedly exceeding $10 million. Critics alleged that Warner's political ascent was bolstered by Mellon's fortune, a claim he vehemently denied. "I've built my career on my principles, not my bank account," Warner stated during the fallout. The divorce became a defining chapter in his personal and political narrative. Number 9. Health struggles and retirement. By 2007, after nearly 3 decades in the Senate, Warner announced his decision to retire. His reasoning was deeply personal. Ongoing health issues, including heart problems, had begun to take their toll. Warner admitted, "Public service demands energy and focus, and I owe it to my constituents to pass the torch when the time is right." Warner's retirement marked the end of an era in Virginia politics. During his farewell address, he reflected on his career, saying, "Serving the people of Virginia has been the honor of a lifetime." Following his departure from the Senate, Warner remained active in public life, attending veterans events, advising political leaders, and delivering speeches on bipartisanship and national security. Despite his health struggles, Warner continued to advocate for issues close to his heart, such as environmental conservation and support for the U.S. military. His contributions to public service were celebrated by both allies and former rivals, solidifying his legacy as a statesman dedicated to principle over politics. Number 10. Reflections on a storied life. In his later years, Warner often reflected on the complexities of his legacy. Acknowledging both his triumphs and controversies, Warner described his life as a tapestry of challenges and opportunities. In a 2015 interview, he emphasized the importance of integrity, stating, "I did what I thought was best for my country, even when it wasn't popular. Warner's death on May 25, 2021, at the age of 94, marked the end of an extraordinary life. He passed away at his home in Alexandria, Virginia, surrounded by family. Tributes poured in from across the political spectrum, with President Joe Biden calling him a voice of reason and a steadfast defender of our democracy. Warner's funeral, held at Washington National Cathedral, was attended by political leaders, military veterans, and members of the public who admired his decades of service. Reflecting on Warner's impact, former Secretary of State John Kerry remarked, "John Warner was the embodiment of patriotism, a man who bridged divides and left an indelible mark on American history."